Welcome to the Success in Africa podcast with Dr. Modupe, your weekly dose of leadership vitamins to make you successful in Africa.
Welcome everyone to the Success in Africa Leadership podcast. I'm Dumi Magadlela, and today I am honored to be your guest host for this beautiful podcast, Success in Africa Leadership. The purpose of this podcast today is to help Africans to be successful by sharing with them the journeys of other successful Africans. Normally, this podcast is hosted by Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I will be hosting it because I have the honor of interviewing our very own Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce himself. His impact and success have recently been recognized by Thinkers 50, the global rankers of gurus of management and leadership and coaching in the world. This year, Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce has been recognized as one of the coaching legends, an honor given to only 8 people globally annually. Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce, thank you for joining us today. Dr. Modupe, as we proceed, let's talk a little bit about Africa and the youth. You've mentioned before in previous episodes that about the youthfulness of Africa and the opportunity in that. Out of 8 billion people, there's only one of you, the gifts that people bring, and how to grow and develop that leadership. You've spoken about accountability partners. You've spoken about mentors and mentees and having people that hold you to account. You've spoken about your network, the ecosystem we are part of, that we need to have people that call us to order, let's call it that hold us to account, that support us to be the best versions of ourselves. What are your thoughts and reflections around the youthfulness of Africa and what that presents for leaders, leadership, for coaching, for businesses like BCA?
I have a burden on my heart for the youth of Africa, especially because of the scale of this opportunity / problem. When I look at the youth of Africa, and I suspect this may not be news to many people listening, most people know that we've got lots of them. Most people know that many of them want to be successful. Most people know that many of them don't have the necessary education to be successful, that they need, or skills that they require. And lastly, they don't have access to some of the resources that they feel they need in order to achieve their goals. Now, when you have to fix this problem for 10 people, it's not that hard. You organize a cohort, do some learning, mentor them, introduce them to the right networks, and they're off and flying. 100 people, not as easy, but certainly manageable. 1,000 people, little harder, quite hard, okay? But some people can do it. When you have to do this for 100 million people, or 400 million people, as is the demographics in Africa today, now you're coming up against what appears to be a brick wall. How does one scale this kind of solution for all the youth? I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers today, but what I am committed to is to figuring it out. We've seen various models. We've seen foundations who offer grants to entrepreneurs. We've seen youth-focused organizations that, create youth programs in different countries. Almost every country has an NGO that is focused on youth. We've seen venture capital firms that provide, equity infusion. And typically, most of the recipients of these are young people who start businesses. There is not a shortage of attempts that chip away at the problem in small doses. The challenge is the minute they start to scale, their efficacy reduces significantly. Okay. So there is still a challenge. Now, where are the potential solutions? One of the things that I recognize from my research is that number one, yes, you have to think big. And number two, you have to think long term. My mother expressed something to me before she passed away. She said, Modupe, you didn't get this way overnight or over 1 year. It took me 18 years of browbeating you to make a man out of you. Now,
Yeah.
she said
Yeah.
she said this in jest, but
Yeah.
what I actually took away from this was it took my mother 18 years of intervention, 18 years of coaching, 18 years of mentoring, 18 years of correcting for me to get to something like this.
Yeah.
How can I expect somebody else who didn't get this at age 25 to suddenly go from indisciplined, less skilled, lacking character to productive, disciplined, character-based, skilled, trustworthy, just because I gave them a 6-month course or 2-year course or 3-year course? When you put it into that perspective, that's when we start to understand that that's the challenge. The challenge is not the interventions, it is the short-term nature of the interventions.
Yeah. Wow.
So what we are doing, what we are now working on is to say, let's create not programs that are 3 years, 2 years, even 4 years, but processes that can support people for 10 plus years.
Yes.
So that they will be able to get over those habits, those cultural norms that they have gotten used to that actually keep them from being successful.
Wow.
Now, here's the challenge. Long term means more money.
It's an investment.
And the capital is usually not that patient.
Yeah.
So, again, I told you, I'm not here to tell you I have all of the solutions.
Right.
Because I certainly haven't solved the patient capital problem, which requires really capital that will sit for not 5 years, not 10 years like a venture capital, but 25 years, a generation length of time.
Yeah.
So that you can then be able to transform people who were shortchanged the education that they should have gotten from age 3 to 20. And now you have to start that education and that training at age 20 or 25. And you have to be willing to invest in repeated interventions over a long time.
Having the foundations laid that you build on. You can't build if the foundation is not there, it's not strong enough.
That's it. That's it. So yes, I am very passionate about the youth. I have a burden for the youth of Africa. I have a burden for supporting them. I recognize that the support must be long term. I recognize that there must be capital or means to be able to make that support be sustainable and long-term for all the youth. And it then can be scaled. And no, I haven't figured it all out yet, but I am definitely on the way to doing that. And certainly BCA leadership, this is one of our strategic areas of focus, is for us to transform Africa into the high income continent that we believe Africa can and will be by 2040. We need to certainly transform the lives of many youth, not by giving them free stuff, but by providing them with the skills, the discipline, the habits, the thinking processes that will help them to be able to make success of themselves. I'm sure you can figure out now where the energy and the impetus for even the podcast came from, because it is one of the steps and one of the interventions that we will do for the next 10, 15, 25 years in order to make sure that the youth of Africa have a weekly dose of vitamins that they can now take. And before they realize it, like a teenager who doesn't realize that he or she is growing taller until an aunt who's been away for 3 years says, you don't grow. They would actually be getting nurtured and be growing in their leadership capacity without even realizing.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Success in Africa Leadership podcast with our very own Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce, and we're celebrating him as a recent recognized Thinkers 50 coaching legends globally. Dr. Modupe, thank you so much for your nuggets of wisdom. As we come towards the end here around legacy, when we look at impact that we make in our lives, what to you will be a life worth lived when you look back and say, I did that? What would be the kind of legacy you would like to leave behind? You have a long way ahead. Yes, incredible impact, success already. What legacy-related activities are you currently engaged in, or would you like to be involved in into the future?
For me, there are 3 things that I would love to be said about me, whether it be when I'm 80 years old or when I'm no longer on this earth. Number 1 is that I was a good father to my children. Number 2 is that I was a good husband to my wife. Number 3 is that I was a catalyst for the positive transformation of Africa.
Wow.
I'm blessed to believe that my activities and my actions are all informed by these 3 things. I'm certainly not presumptuous enough to believe that just because my children are alive and well means that I've been a good father, or that I take the credit for that. Because I know many good fathers who have children that are struggling. But I'm blessed to believe that I've been there for them, and I continue to be available to them, even though these days they seem to need me a lot less, which is a good thing. I also, I'm blessed to have been a husband to an amazing wife who continues to help shape me to this day. And I recognize that like any couple, we have our ups and downs,
Naturally.
but we stay committed to each other through all the changing scenes of life. And I'm mentioning these because it's very easy to overlook these when one talks about legacy.
Yeah.
But I feel that that's very, very important. And there are lots of ways in which African leaders screw these two things up and learn a little too late how important it was.
Yeah.
On the third part, that, I've been a catalyst for the positive transformation of Africa, certainly, a lot of what we've talked about, my work with BCA, coaching leaders, creating a platform, a Pan-African brand, is a key part of it. Because as a coach, I could have simply influenced, all the people that I directly coach and said, hey, that's great. But in some ways, that's a little bit like, the Apostle Paul saying, hey, listen, I preach great sermons and I minister to people. But with a place where his legacy was really ultimately scaled was in his writing.
Yes.
He found ways to expand.
Yes.
So, and for me, it's similar. I focus on things like building the platform of BCA, where other coaches can come on board and can have a brand that then can give them access to clients whom they may not otherwise have even known about, and vice versa. That's one. Secondly, another area of legacy of a scale is the podcast. Because through the podcast, this now goes out to thousands, millions of people, not only this week, but 10 years from now, people can come back and access each episode and really get the benefit, no matter where they are in the world. And we provide this podcast free of charge. We make it available to people. They don't have to pay for it. Thirdly, I also do a lot of writing. I write the Leadership Made in Africa series and books, and thank you. And you, Brother Dumi, have even been an editor and a contributor to some of those books, and I'm so grateful for that. And I encourage people to write because I believe that when it comes to learning to becoming successful in Africa, there's so much that we can learn from those who have gone that way before us. And the biggest disappointment is when somebody goes to the grave with all that knowledge, all that skill, all that experience, but haven't passed it on in a sustainable way to thousands and millions of people. And so that's where writing becomes very important. So not only am I writing and writing books and publications, etc., but I'm also creating the publication framework for others to be encouraged to write their articles so that these can be published. So these, for me, are the legacy building activities. But I also want to mention two other things.
Right.
There are two rocks that I am determined to crack, which are also going to be legacy things. One of them I've spoken about. That's the youth at scale. Again, we're continuing to try to figure out how we do it at scale. I'm not interested in transforming the lives of 100 or 1,000 youth. I'm interested in transforming the lives of 100 million to be successful.
Right.
So that's one. The second rock that we're intent on cracking is the public sector leaders' rock. Because the reality is that much of Africa's development, Africa's progress, is based on decisions made by policymakers and policy enforcers, which is leaders of ministries, departments, and agencies, public sector leaders, elected or selected or appointed, they are the leaders, and their decisions affect much of the lives of many, many Africans.
Yeah.
And this is a group that has historically been underfed, underserved when it comes to leadership growth and knowledge.
Yeah.
We bring them into positions, we vote for them, we appoint them, and we never think about whether they have the necessary skills, knowledge, abilities, access, network in order to be able to make good decisions. And then we have the temerity to blame them for when they make poor decisions.
Yeah.
As if any of us, if we were not prepared, if we were not given tuition, if we were not given teachers, would then at age 20 be put in front of an exam to take the GCEO level or the SAT. And then when we fail, they're like, you must be stupid. No, I'm not stupid. It's because you never trained me. You didn't give me the knowledge.
Exactly.
So don't blame me for when I make poor decisions or I write rubbish.
Yeah.
Blame the fact that I wasn't given the training, the preparation. So this is the other nut that we are determined to crack. I want as a legacy that every public sector leader in Africa, whether that's a city councilman, whether that's a member of parliament, whether that's the director of a ministry, whether that's a managing director of a state-owned enterprise, a utility company, whatever it is, any of those, or even whether that's a minister of finance or agriculture or a permanent secretary, or even the president of a country, all of these people should have a coach, should be part of a learning environment that feeds them with the knowledge, the skills, the awareness they need in order for them to make good decisions. That is the other rock that we are going to crack.
Wow.
That's legacy.
That is beautiful. Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce, founder of BCA, Thinkers 50, coaching legend. It's been an absolute pleasure. One last nugget to a young African leader. One small thing as a takeaway that you would like to share with them. Last one. Anything. Could be anything. What would you close with in this conversation?
I would share with an African youth. Number one, your brightest future is in Africa. It's not in Europe. It's not in the US. Your continent has all the resources that you need in order to be successful.
Yes.
Don't buy into the myth that to have a good life, you need to be in the UK, in France, in Germany, Canada, Australia, or the USA. It's a myth. Now, to tap into these resources, you need to invest in your own knowledge, skills, and abilities. These resources are available to you, but you have to be ready for them. Do you have a smartphone? Do you have access to the internet? Start using it to learn. Less time watching Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea, and more time watching videos, podcasts about people who have been successful and about skills that you need to learn.
Amen.
Every time you spend watching Manchester United, you are putting money into the person whose video you are watching. and you are not getting anything that will make you any more successful, because if you are watching it, the chances that you will ever become that professional player are probably long. And I say that even though I'm an
Yes.
avid football fan.
Yes. In
But
fact,
I
you're losing
recognize
time. Yeah.
that you're losing time. So invest in your skills.
Yes.
Whatever they are that you need,
Yeah.
invest in them. If you don't know what you need, ask somebody. Let them tell you. But make no mistake, the opportunities are right here on this continent. They are not far from you.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
people coming into your country, your community, from
Yes.
other land, and they are being successful. It's not because they have a different color of skin. It's because they have different habits, they have different skills, and different education. All three of which you can acquire.
Yeah.
And all you need is your smartphone and internet access.
Technology
That would
is
be my
available to
message.
all of us now. Dr. Modupe Taylor-Pierce, thank you so much. Our Thinkers 50 coaching legend, we celebrate you. We appreciate you that you are here now during our lifetime, during this time, as we experience fast technology-driven transition with AI and other things that are changing our world fast. Leaders like you nourish our journey ahead. So thank you for the gift that you are and the gift of your leadership coaching, and your wonderful insights. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Tomorrow belongs to those people who prepare for it today. See you next week.